Morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. The time is now 11:03 a.m. This is a special meeting with the City of Post Falls and our planning manager. Is that the right way, Shelley? You're the planning?
Engineer. I'm city administrator.
Oh, City Administrator, okay. Shelley Enderud is here, and
Please announce yourself.
sorry about that.
Hi, who's on the line?
Pat Braden.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat. We were waiting for you.
Just got started.
There's a packet up there for Pat also.
Okay, so we've got a packet here for you as well, Pat. Thanks for attending. So anyway, so do we have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none.
Bad echo.
Pat, are you able to mute your phone or so we can just determine what this feedback's coming from?
Okay, I'm doing it right now.
Thanks.
Okay, that's better.
Do a testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'll just stay muted unless I'm asked to speak.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Pat.
Sounds good, okay. So anyway, we have one and only item on our agenda, and an important one at that. And it's a potential joint powers agreement between the City of Post Falls and Kootenai County to assist with the creation of a new urban renewal district for Project Drive. What I'll do is I'll ask our guests to introduce themselves. So the city administrator is Shelley Enderud. Go right ahead. Diane?
Diane Johnson, Post Falls Urban Renewal Agency.
Okay,
Bill Melvin, City Engineer, Post Falls.
okay. Thank you all for attending. And so without any further ado, Shelley, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys setting up this meeting for us to come before you. Basically, what we're looking to do is real similar to what we did with the tech park, and that is to join with the Kootenai County Board of Commissioners and do a joint powers agreement. And the reason for that is the area that we're looking at creating the urban renewal district is currently in the county. So there's a map before you, and on the left-hand side in gray is the project area, and that currently is in the county. We are looking at annexing that. We have consent to annex forms with everyone except for we have 2 that we're working on. We will have those in place prior to doing the joint powers agreement with the county. The problem with annexation is it takes longer than it takes to create the actual urban renewal district. I'm gonna take this off
Yeah,
because I think it's
please, that'd be
muffling.
great, okay.
And so, what we did with the tech park, when we created that urban renewal, is we did the joint powers agreement with Kootenai County that allowed us to complete the urban renewal district within the calendar year, and the annexations were then completed that following year. And so we're looking to do exactly the same thing. We're not asking the county to hold any properties. All properties would be annexed into the City of Post Falls. And the reason why we're trying to do this is we were approached by Project Drive through the Department of Commerce, and they bought the property just south of the Solid Waste Department, and they're looking to locate their project on that parcel right there. It's about 67 acres. And currently, they would like to be located in about 2 to 3 years on that site. And so we're trying to create the increment to help pay for the wastewater and water and the transportation. They need to widen Pleasant View also. Our engineering department has submitted a build grant to who does that go to, Bill? To the Federal Highway Administration for about $21.6 million. We'll hear from them back by September 30th on whether or not that grant will be awarded to us. The wastewater and water and transportation costs are beyond that, and so the urban rural district will help to pay for those additional improvements. We are working on the eligibility study and the feasibility study currently, so we don't have the total costs at this point. And if I give you a number, it's probably going to be wrong, but the total infrastructure costs are likely somewhere between $40 to $50 million for those water, wastewater, and transportation improvements. The Pleasant View and Prairie Roundabout, which is right there where the solid waste property is currently under construction with the Post Falls Highway District. So that improvement is being made there. And then, Bill, do we have a year on the Highway 53?
We thought it was
2024.
Yeah, we thought it was 2024. I heard just parts of a conversation that might be pushing that years because 2024, 2025. they're gonna turn the, ITD will modify the intersection of Pleasant View and 53 to an interchange, like an urban type interchange.
Okay,
It'll be a tremendous safety.
okay.
So this area is really attractive for industrial development at this time. Trying to find large lot industrial development is difficult. Most of what you see in the area is the smaller lots. It's the 5 and 10 acre lots. And by making the improvements at Pleasant View and Prairie and those improvements at 53 and Pleasant View, it opens it up for additional truck traffic and transportation traffic, both coming from I-90 and from Highway 53. And so this area is desirable for improvements. Steve White owns the property north of there. Some of that would be residential to the east, some of it would be industrial to the west. There's also, the school owns the property at McGuire and Prairie, and they have 60 acres there, and that's their high school site. So there'll be a second high school built there somewhere in 5 to 10 years. So we're trying to get infrastructure, again, water, sewer, over to that site for the school district. Included in the packet is some examples. We have the letter that provides kind of the annexation and urban renewal benefits, and basically what we'd be looking on the transfer of authority. So you guys would adopt a declaration of need resolution and would negotiate an agreement basically with the city of Post Falls. And you would also adopt an ordinance transferring the authority for the creation of the district. Once the parcels are annexed into Post Falls, basically that agreement becomes null and void because there are no county properties to worry about.
Okay, okay.
Diane has a few things in here. Diane, do you want to talk about? Do you need her to come up to the
Yeah,
microphone?
can you come up to the mic? Yeah, it's okay. Thanks.
It'd be the third sheet that you have, this one right here. It
Okay.
shows all the properties that are in that, going to be in that district that we're asking you to sign off on. And over to the right, that's the amount that the county is currently getting off of those properties. It totals $8,000. So that'll be basically what the base value of that will be when the district is formed. So you will continue to get that amount of money. So it's a low amount of money that you're getting the
On these properties?
yeah,
Okay.
taxes off of. And then on the next sheet, I have closure projections. And up at the top, it shows the districts that will be closing within the next few years.
Okay,
So this year, the West Saltese district will close, and you will be able to take on your fiscal 2021 budget $83,909.30 from the new development from that district. And then as you go down, it shows each district when they're closing and the Kootenai County's amount. Down below that, I have a recap to show you that new development dollars will be available in 2023, $613,000, and in fiscal year 2024, $342,000 as those districts close. Those numbers might change as the valuations and your levy rate changes. And then I just kind of summed up how the Urban Renewal Agency has worked in the past, where we've rebated excess monies when we haven't had any projects in those districts. And, you know, we continue to do business like that in our districts, and we try to close them down once all the infrastructure has been completed and reimbursed.
Okay.
Do you have any questions on those?
For Diane?
And we're just trying to show our good faith, so.
Yeah.
One of the things Post Falls Urban Renewal has done is we do close our districts down early when the projects are complete and return that money back.
Yeah, what, is it typically what, a 10-year period?
They can be up to 20 years.
They
And
can-
So each district has a different.
That's different,
I
okay.
think like West Saltese was 15 years, wasn't
The
it?
West Saltese was 15 years, yeah.
So the question that I have, yesterday we met with solid waste, and maybe there's a little bit of confusion here. And Kathy Mayer alluded to basically very small strip of land. Is that what we're talking about here, or is there something more?
Completely separate.
Oh, that's a complete different situation,
It's
okay.
part of this whole thing, but that's not what we're asking for today. Today, we're just asking
Okay.
for the joint power agreement for the urban renewal district itself.
Okay, okay.
The other one is trying to make Steve White's property contiguous. And one of the things that, was it, Bill, did you come to me with the solution on that? No, it was John Cafferty, our attorney. You guys the Board of County Commissioners could take that and actually, instead of selling that strip of property to the city, you could continue to hold it and annex just that small strip too. So there's a couple of options there that hadn't originally been presented under the question of the solid waste piece.
I'm not interested in annexing solid waste at all. You know, if we want to do that small strip, you know, that's something we can
That's something
talk
different,
about,
yeah.
but, yeah. Just want to make sure.
Pat, did you have any questions?
I do have one, and it's for Post Falls staff, particularly Shelley. In looking at the properties that are in question, some of them are currently within the city of Hauser's area of city impact. Has anybody made contact with the city of Hauser to see what their opinion on this might be?
Yes, so Warren Wilson and myself met with the city of Hauser.
I'm sorry, can you speak in the microphone so we can hear you?
Pat, can you hear Shelley?
Pull it towards you.
No, she's cutting out and breaking
Okay,
up.
hold on, yeah.
So, can you hear me now?
We've got some noise in the background. If anyone else is on, please mute your cell phone.
So somehow, Pat, when you're not muted, we get a feedback.
That's kind of weird because I'm in a quiet room.
Right,
Is
so
there
it's
anyone else?
us. I mean, I hear my own voice feeding back.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is Pat the only one on? Call him back. See if it resets, reboots.
Actually, that's what I'll do, Pat.
Really annoying.
9575?
that's fine. Say that again?
9575?
That's correct.
Okay, I'll call you right back.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wonder if any of this crap works, isn't it?
Hello.
Hi, that's better.
Okay.
Oh,
No, it's not. Pull the mic down closer to the phone. Try that. I think you're being picked up on your mic. Not working.
All right, Pat, sorry, if you could just mute and she'll answer your question.
Okay, just a second.
Go ahead, Shelley.
Okay, so yes, myself and Warren Wilson, our attorney, met with the legal advisor for Hauser and their planner about 2 months ago and had the conversation. They are okay with this annexation. They just wanted to make sure they didn't need to change their agreement with Kootenai County because they were already so far in that process. This does not require any kind of change to their agreement with Kootenai County.
Okay,
So they will
okay.
proceed forward with their agreement. I don't know if it's been signed yet or not. I know it was getting close. And continue with that being in their ACI. And we can annex with the owner's consent. And that just, once it's annexed, it comes out of the ACI.
Okay. Pat, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thanks, Shelley.
Okay, and I can see Director David Callahan is nodding in agreement. You're fine also, David? Okay. 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 So in essence, summarizing it, what exactly are we doing? We're forming a joint powers agreement.
Yes, so we would join, let me read it off of the list.
Okay.
So the Board of County Commissioners would adopt a declaration of need resolution, and the city and county would have an agreement, and that's the joint powers agreement. And then the Board of County Commissioners would also adopt an ordinance transferring the authority for the creation of the district. So there's 3 items that you guys would do. Pat
Okay.
worked with Warren on that in the past.
Okay, okay,
And so we included copies, samples from the tech park.
okay.
But we would send those over to Pat Braden so that Warren and he could work on those if you guys approve this moving forward.
Okay, so in essence, what we're doing is we're forming this agreement
Yes,
really ahead of the annexation.
yes,
Okay. Given that the annexation, as you pointed out earlier, Shelley, takes as long as it does.
yes. And we would
Okay.
have, so When you have a large annexation like this, you could always have an owner that tries to pull out in the middle. So that's why we're having them sign the consent to annex forms to ensure that in the middle of all this, that doesn't suddenly happen. And so, like I said, I think right now Don Beck has not signed his, and Steve White it's at his attorney's office. He just needs to go in and sign it. So we pretty much got those all signed.
Okay.
So if for some reason Steve White doesn't want to be annexed, does the project still go forward?
It would just go forward without that without his property.
Okay, and if the board does not agree to the URD, then what happens?
We
on
would
your
create
side?
it in 2021 instead of 2020, so it would just delay the creation and setting the base a year.
When you say we, who?
The city of Post Falls,
City
I'm
of Post
sorry.
Falls.
Okay.
So in essence, what lies before us today has little to do with the creation of the URD.
It's just allowing us to create it sooner,
Okay, all right.
allowing us to create it in 2020.
Why would we even have a hand in that?
Because they're county parcels right now.
Oh, because of
and
the
they're not
county
in
parcels.
city.
Okay. yeah.
And there's a timeline for this project, otherwise it would be just fine for us to create it next year. But we're trying to meet that 2 to 3 year
Okay,
deadline for
okay.
Project Drive.
Okay.
And so they have other facilities that they're trying to leave and come over here. They're currently over in Washington.
For the benefit of everyone, without revealing too much, Project Drive, stop me if I go too far, is a transportation company that runs about 1,000 trucks nationwide. They're relocating from Washington, but they'll not be moving their full complement of employees, which is about 500, be about 100 initially anyway. But and that's the land purchase that Shelley alluded to earlier. What was it, 67 acres?
67 acres.
Yeah.
And they'll have a transload facility, so that will allow them also to do rail. That is their plan.
And because it's transportation, the wastewater needs are immense because you've got the washing of the vehicles, and that's what's creating the need for the wastewater treatment. It's not a treatment plant per se, is it?
It's just, right now, there's no lift station and
Okay.
no force main that runs to that area. So this would create the lift station and it's not a force main. Is it a force main, Bill? It is a force main running down to the plant.
Okay, great.
Go directly to our existing.
To your existing facility, okay. Pat, do you have any other questions?
I do not.
Okay, so you've had a chance to review these agreements?
I don't think there's any agreement yet.
Well, no, the
samples. Yeah, I reviewed the tech park agreements with,
Okay.
along with Mr. Warren Wilson and Pete Bredesen, the URD's lawyer, and I would expect them to be, substantially similar to that, so I don't see the review period taking all that long. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here, fortunately, because we have done this not very long ago.
Okay. Bill, any questions?
I really don't. I've said it before, I'm not a real big fan of URDs. Who's on the URD board?
I'll let Diane list off.
We have Jerry Baltzell, Larry Karstensen, Len Crosby, Jamie Davis, Colin Coles, Eric Clemenson, and a new Christy Fleshman are our board members. And this district, too, will have to go through a public hearing process, too. So whatever you're doing today isn't assuring that the urban renewal district can be formed. We still have to go through the public process.
And what if the public process, what if people said, we don't want to do that? Then what would happen then?
It goes before the city council after it's reviewed by the planning and zoning committee to make sure that it goes according to their comp plan. And then it would be the city of Post Falls that would, council members, the elected officials that would do the final vote
That's what
on
I'm
the creation
in
of the
favor
district.
of the elected officials having a yes or no vote.
Correct.
Not a, we want to
Not-
change it a little bit.
Yeah, so they get the final say.
Okay. All
Anything else?
right. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess just part of my issue is we just have so many people complaining about growth not paying for itself. And now we have this area that wants to grow, but yet a URD is going to be formed. So they're not paying for it themselves. It's on the, kind of the taxpayer.
So the increment would be
exist.
paid for from the properties that are within this district. So it would come, property taxes would come directly from the businesses that are located in the district.
Right. I see what you're saying. It just doesn't go towards the base, it just goes towards this project. and
Yeah, so
not-
the base would continue to go to the taxing districts as is. This would just be the new growth.
Yeah.
That would be taken to pay for the infrastructure.
The infrastructure.
I want time to think about it. That's just kind of where I'm at.
That's kind of why, one thing that is unusual, and we can have public comment on this, but I noticed Jeff is back there. And I'm wondering if it would be okay if he
Well, sure.
took a couple minutes and told us what he thought.
Jeff, come forward, please.
Only a couple of minutes.
That's all right. You're the only one, you're fine.
Jeff Tyler, 5892 West Harbor Drive, unincorporated county. As you guys know, I've been around all this discussion for quite a while, and you know that Northwest Property Owners Alliance has fought against URDs. But I was there when the original tax increment financing was started in Post Falls, and I actually agreed with that because it was a short period of time. It was for a specific project. And it returned more money to the city of Post Falls, and it helped bring business and work to our county. I just wanted to read this, though, this is the Wikipedia definition of urban redevelopment. It's often used to address urban decay in cities. Urban renewal is the clearing out of blighted areas in inner cities to clear out slums and create opportunities for higher class housing, businesses, and more. So, using that as the definition of, urban renewal, a lot of times lately it's kind of become an alter ego for elected officials and bureaucracies to attain more funding for pet projects is the way I look at it. In this particular instance, I could see the need, and I know Post Falls wants to get more business and less residential because it comes back better in taxes, which actually might help, the homeowners' tax rates. But what I mostly am doing by being here, I just wanted to learn more about what this is and what you guys is before you, and just to be a voice for the average citizen and their property taxes. I don't think this is going to particularly affect personal property taxes that much with what they're doing here, and also, we can also talk about it with the city of Post Falls when it goes before their board. So that's kind of where I'm at on it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great, appreciate it.
So I just have a couple more questions, Shelley. So if we agree to this, then the, excuse me, the Post Falls URD then reviews it, and then the city council votes on it?
So it actually goes also before our Planning and Zoning Commission, before the city council. But yes, it would ultimately be voted on by the city council.
But that's, do we have a public hearing because it's our property?
I don't think so. Maybe that's a question for Pat. You want to, yeah, jump in, Pat, please.
Yeah, I'm here.
I think so.
There's not a required public hearing before the county, however, because you would be enacting an ordinance as part of the process for this, you could elect to have a public hearing on that. Or just a public hearing on the whole thing, basically. Again, it's not required in statute, but there's nothing preventing you from doing it.
All right, so I just want to make sure that the increment is only from these gray shaded areas.
Yes.
So it's a very tiny URD.
It looks
Or-
tiny on here, but it is 600 acres.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay. I'm looking at, okay. So this is a notice of, okay, okay, these are just samples, you're absolutely right, okay, intergovernmental agreement, okay, okay. So there are 3 items, is that right, Shelley?
Yes.
Okay. Give them to me in order again. One is what, a declaration?
Yes, and on the letter that I provided you,
Yep.
it spells them out on the second page.
Okay,
So if you have first, adopts a declaration of deed resolution.
a declaration of need, okay,
And then it will negotiate an agreement between the city and the county.
okay,
And then you would adopt an ordinance transferring the authority for the creation of the district.
okay.
Okay, so that's why it wouldn't just necessarily come before us, because we would transfer that authority
Exactly.
to the URD. Okay.
So Pat, let me ask you, how do you see this proceeding? Basically, we could. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm here. What was the question?
How do you perceive the process? Would be essential, would we be taking the 3 steps in a single meeting?
You could. The biggest, I mean, the most process, in this process would be through the city and the urban renewal district, and there would be a public hearing required on that side. We could do this all for the tech park one. We just recently we did that all in one meeting. We had a few different agenda items, but they were all approved in the same business meeting, and
Yeah.
that can certainly be done in this case.
Yeah, that's the one that Bob Bingham and I saw. Okay.
Right. So,
Okay. Do you guys feel you need more time?
I would like a little more time. I'm in favor of this, but I want more time. Okay? I think it sounds like a good project, minimal impact, blah, 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 but I would like to study it some more.
Also, I do have a
yeah.
timeline. I can provide this
Can I
to you
briefly
and
comment on that, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead, Pat, please.
Just, from our perspective, there's been a lot of zoning changes and various other land use approvals in that general area for light industrial operations. But the biggest obstacle for that actually happening is meeting Panhandle Health's requirement for disposal of non-domestic wastewater. And so it seems to me that, this would, and I'm not trying to advocate in favor or against this, but it seems to me to be, a means, if you choose to go along with this, to leverage, infrastructure, especially that non-domestic wastewater disposal that's really needed to get, industrial operations there. So that's just, kind of how I see that. Again, you're free to, go along with this or oppose it. I think there's probably cogent arguments on both sides. I just wanted to make that point from what we've seen on the county side.
Shelley, you said something about a timeline?
I can provide you with what our timeline is.
Okay,
And I can email it so everybody gets a copy.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I just brought one with me. It wasn't-
that's fine.
That's fine.
So do you want to reconvene in about a week? Does that work?
Yeah, or put it on status update.
Okay, either way.
Is that enough time?
Status
Yeah,
update
that
on
would probably be a good time to do it.
So for,
Chris, will you be here for that?
yeah, no, I'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to postpone my vacation.
Just for this?
Oh, no. I'm going to do it in September instead of August. Okay, so basically then, so status update for us is Monday. Every Monday typically, we meet at about 11 o'clock. So if we put it on there, we should be able to indicate it as an action item, so we'd be able to vote. Okay. But we'll do is we'll circulate this. It gives us enough time to do whatever research or ask whatever questions we might have. I personally don't see an issue with it, but I think taking the time is probably prudent. Okay. Any other questions for Shelley or Diane?
Good,
Bill?
nice presentation.
Brief.
I say we
Okay.
would echo the aquifer protection, wastewater piece of what Mr. Braden mentioned.
Okay.
So that is part of what we looked at.
Okay, great.
Don't say echo today.
Yes.
Anyway, cool. Leslie, anything else? No? Okay. We took public comment, so the time is now 11:33, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.